box. It's like a heavy-duty cardboard box with a lid on it. See, the lid comes off very easily. And it has a beautiful, beautiful flower on it. It's a very large box. And it is filled with colored paper and other items that you might use for scrapbooking. It doesn't necessarily have to be for scrapbooking, but these are primarily supplies for scrapbooking. So I'm going to remove the lid now, and I'm going to set the lid aside. Now, the first item in my box is actually all bound together. It is a book. See, it's bound right here on the side. It has this glued binding right here. This is multicolored paper. It almost looks like wallpaper, but it's actually nice and thick paper. And of course, you could cut this into any design that you like, any shape that you like to use. You could use this as a background for pictures or mementos that you want to place in your scrapbook. You can use this. Now, these the first two pieces look like this. It is a light blue or seafoam green color with white designs on it. And it really does kind of remind me of wallpaper from back in the 60s. It's very busy, very intricate. But you can see, I'm going to show you up close some of the pretty designs on this paper. And I'm going to turn this one page at a time and show you the different designs on the paper. And again, I have this one, which is just like the one before it. And this one I like a lot. It's a plaid. It's very pretty plaid. It sort of looks like springtime to me. And it has blue in it and green, different shades of blue and green, and then primarily white in the background. It's really pretty. The next page has very similar colors in it to the plaid that I just showed you. And this has stripes to the print on the paper. You have green stripes and then a thinner stripe of sort of a lavender color, white, and then you have these little dotted lines which are kind of a light green color also. And then this page, this piece of paper here, to me this kind of looks like Christmas. Probably because I have some wrapping paper that is almost identical to this. It's the same color and design and everything. It is sort of a diagonal stripe to it. This one is red with some bluish green and a burgundy color and a fuchsia color and then white interspersed among the colored stripes. It's really pretty. And then we have a second page of the same design. This one is really pretty. I like this. This is a sort of a geometric design, and it has green and fuchsia, and then sort of a coral pink color and blue with stripes and plaid. And then this page is very similar. It's just a multicolored plaid paper. It's really pretty. It looks like something you would put on the picnic table. It's like a pretty little picnic table cloth. And we have a second sheet of that same paper. And every now and then you can see where some pages have been torn out. This one is really pretty. This is a pretty light lilac color, but it's very hard to see. But there are little tiny dots of fuchsia interspersed on the paper. But it's very hard to see because they're very, very small on the paper. But they're there. I really like this one. This one is very similar to the first one that we saw. It's the same design, only it has the coral look to it instead of this bluish color. Really, really pretty. It's almost a salmon color, or just like a pretty coral. Very pretty. This one is stripes, and it has a coral, and then just a lighter pink and white. It's very nice design. I like this. It's very pretty. This one is a basic stripe. It is sort of a salmon color. It's almost a salmon pink, possibly a coral. And the stripes are lighter and darker, and they alternate to make the striped appearance of this paper. And again, we have two pieces. We have two sheets of this paper. This one, the stripe design actually reminds me of some of the shirts that guys used to wear back in the 90s. I don't know if they were by Gap or Polo, but there were these button-down shirts that guys used to wear, like a button-down long-sleeve shirt, and they would have stripes kind of like this on at least part of the shirt, and it kind of reminds me of this. And they were in the kind of these types of colors. You would have a purple and sort of a faded red color, and then white. I remember that was really popular. It might have been back in the late 80s, early 90s. This one again to me looks like wallpaper. It's kind of a reddish pink color with little floral design on it, and they run the entire length of the paper. And again, we have a second sheet. Oh, this one is cute. I like this. This one has like a little dress form on it, like a dressmaker's form, and it's polka dotted, and it has lace running along the bottom. And then we have this pretty plaid color. It's a salmon, and then sort of a navy blue color with a sage green stripe. This is a really intricate plaid. And then of course we have sort of like a cream color that primarily serves as the background for the plaid. Wow, this one is really, really complicated. This is really, it's very beautiful though. You have red, and then you have these little purple, almost like a square, with a circular piece in the middle that's sort of a sage green color. It's very, very cool. And again, we have two sheets of this paper. And then this one is, again, it was more understated, kind of a simple pattern. brownish color. It's very understated and subtle, and I think it would look very nice if you paired it with a more complicated, vibrant pattern of paper. I think that would be very pretty. And this one is a brownish color with little dots, and it seems that this book of paper has a lot of the same designs and patterns. They just have them in different colors. This one looks like a postcard. And up here it says season greetings, 10 cents. And then it looks like it has a little postmark on it. And there are little lines where you could write a note, or you could possibly place a picture or two on it and then write a little note about the pictures. I think that would be really cute. And we have two of those here. And here's a really pretty design. It's a green one. And again, it kind of looks like, actually, looking at it this way, it looks like frogs. It almost looks like bullfrogs or something on the paper. It kind of looks like wallpaper. And we have a second sheet of this paper. And you can see a little flap here where a piece of this one was torn out. And this one is a very kind of a Christmassy looking design, in my opinion. It almost looks like little poinsettia blossoms. And then you have these green little flowers in here, all on sort of an off-white background. We have another piece of that. And then here we have the diagonal striped design again. Only this time it's a bit darker. These colors are darker. We have a darker green and a dark burgundy color. We have thin stripes, and then we have thicker stripes. They just alternate throughout the paper. And then, of course, we have a second sheet of the same paper. And again, this reminds me of my Christmas wrapping paper. And then this one is very Christmassy. We have pine trees and Christmas ornaments, and then little reindeer. And that is the end of that section of my collection of items in this little box. This is really cool. I like this. This is a collection of stickers. And some of these stickers are very long. As you can see, they're very long stickers. And some of them are very small. This one says, "Sow the seeds of kindness. Gardening is an instrument of grace." And then you have lots of little cats, which are really cute. And this one says, "We are closer to God in the garden than anywhere else. Time spent with cats is never wasted." So it's just some cute little stickers. And they were made by Miss Elizabeth's. You can see that right up here at the very top. Now, also in my box, I have some loose items. They're not necessarily attached, and a lot of these papers were torn from the book that I just showed you. Like here, for instance, we have a light-green patterned paper with a white, sort of like a white checkerboard design on it. Just little, not a solid line, but little white dots. And this one we actually saw earlier, and there's a bit of glue on the back of it, and it has stuck to this piece underneath it, so I'm not going to try to pull it off. But it's sort of a zigzag geometric design, and you have green and orange and blue and This would make a very pretty image. I think it would make a nice presentation. You can make a frame. You can take one of the larger pieces and put it underneath one of the smaller pieces. And you can make as many layers as you wish. And then maybe put a little picture or a little memento right in the middle of the smallest piece of paper. It'd be just perfect. And then, for some reason, there's just a piece of like copy paper in here. And this piece, I do believe we saw earlier. This is sort of a faded red with sort of beige colored tiny polka dots on it. This would be a pretty background. And then this we have sort of an uneven, it's a piece that was torn. But it's hard to see, but the flowers have a little tiny bit of glitter right in the center. It's very difficult to see, even for me. It's kind of hard to see it in the light, but there is a faint bit of glitter in the middle of each flower. I love this bluish lavender color background. I think that is so beautiful. Here's another polka dot background. This one is sort of a light gray color with darker gray polka dots all throughout. The polka dots are very small. And again, it's been torn. You can tell that a kid has been using this stuff. It wasn't my kid. I actually bought all this at the thrift store. I don't know who did this. I got this entire box at Goodwill for $2. I mean, the box and everything in it was $2. I mean, it's an awesome deal. This one, this is paper also, but it looks like denim. It looks like a really pretty denim fabric. But it's really pretty. And again, this is torn right here on this corner. This is a cornflower blue basic design with the little plus signs or the crosses on it that we saw. I think we saw this earlier in the little book, the little bound book of paper. This piece is very thick. This is like cardstock. This is not like the other pieces of paper. This is thicker. And it looks like some pieces have been cut out, so the paper has been used. It's a very dusty pink color with ivory colored designs. And then we have this piece of paper, which is white on this side, and then it's sort of a rusty brown color on this side, and it almost looks like it was painted. There is a bit of color variation in texture to the appearance of this color. And then we have these two pieces, and again, they're white, and they're square, and they have sort of a rusty reddish brown color. shine on it, but there's a little bit of glitter down in the center of each flower. And again, we have these stars and stripes. And it appears to be stuck to a piece on the back, which I'll show you in just a minute. I'm just going to flip it over. But we have this pretty design in sort of a faded red and blue, and then with the white stripes also. Ooh, I like that. We haven't seen this one before, and this looks like wintertime, of course, with the little snowflakes. And they're not, they can't say that no two are the same, because actually quite a few of these are the same. But it's very pretty. I've never been one to do any scrapbooking, but actually all these pretty papers, all these pretty designs, and all this neat paper makes me want to try it. It's just never been my thing. I actually have a couple scrapbooks that I put together when I was younger, but when I was back in my early 20s before I had kids, but they're not especially fancy. They don't have lots of different colored papers and designs or anything. They're mainly just pictures and little items from different things, and they don't involve all this fancy stuff. But this one is pretty. It has sort of a light green. It's a floral design, and it has light green petals, and then the inside of each flower is kind of a bluish color. The circle itself is blue. Oh, and we have lots of squares of colors here. Let's see what we have. We have black. And these actually kind of just feel like construction paper. We have black and red. A very pretty dark blue. I like that. And then we have these squares. We have sort of a light orange colored square. Then we have this nautical look with the anchors. And then we have a light pink rectangle. And this is thicker. This is like cardstock again. So definitely more firm. It's not as flimsy. Pretty lilac color. Lovely, lovely blue. It's very pretty. And then we have another square of lilac, light purple, sort of just like a pastel purple. And then again, these feel like construction paper. They're pretty thin. Just some squares of purple. Little strip of, looks like part of somebody's picture that they cut. But again, I got all this together, so I actually did not know what all was in here until just now. I haven't looked at any of it ahead of time. I thought we would enjoy it together. We would discover together what was in this box. So if there's anything really embarrassing in here, I apologize. Again, like I said, I did not preview this ahead of time. More lilac. And then again, we have this construction paper, darker purple. Well, like that. That's sort of a copper color. Oh, they got fancy with this one. It's a dark brown piece of paper that they put a stamp on. They got really fancy with that one. Almost looks like a sea monster. And then again, we have the anchors. And this very large piece, which again, it looks like they've been stamping on it. I'll read it to you. It says, "A girl is innocence playing in the mud, beauty standing on its head." Oh dear, no, that's unfortunate. That it has an apostrophe, and it shouldn't. We won't nitpick. And motherhood, dragging a doll by the foot. Oh, okay. I don't really get it, but that's what it says. which has glitter, and it must be high. Well, this is a high quality item because I can run my fingers over it like this, and it's not coming off. That makes me like it even better. One of the things I don't like about glitter is that it gets everywhere. So that's really pretty. And we have more paper squares. And these feel basically like cardboard. We have like a beige color, a pink, a really pretty, sort of like a parchment design, yellow. But this one feels thicker. This is a burgundy color. And then this one is lime green. And it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like a crescent moon was stamped on it. And then another beige color right here. Oops, I dropped one. It was chocolate brown. And this is another chocolate brown. And a pink. I think the pink and the brown look really pretty together. I always kind of liked pink and brown together. I think they look good. Okay, here's the one I dropped. It's a lighter brown. There is a lot in here. I mean, I am amazed. I had no idea there was so much in here. And this looks like it was just the back of that book that had all the paper in it. Oh my God, my younger son has to see this. It's trains. Oh my goodness, my younger son loves trains. I have to show him this one. See, it has all these little trains and the little suitcases. Oh, he's going to love this. He'll want to keep this one, I'm sure, and I'll let him have it. And then we have a little tiny piece that was cut. It's blue. This is nice. It's sort of a lilac colored stripe with a gray, sort of a beige-ish gray look to the background. This one is sort of a Western theme. See, we have like old-timey boots and phones. Okay, maybe not Western, but definitely old-timey. Old clocks and things. Then we have this paper, which is dedicated to travel. That's pretty cool. And souvenir is misspelled. This one's cool. This one again is about travel. You have a picture of the Eiffel Tower. It's really cool. Statue of Liberty. It's really, really neat. And it's kind of it's not a super bright color. It's very faded, which makes your own pictures stand out better, which I think is really nice. This piece of paper is dedicated to friends. It looks like it's lined with buttons and it has a lock and keys. It's really neat. Oh, this one is pretty. It's very faint, very subtle, but it has roses on it. And it's so neat. Here's another strip of paper that was cut. You can see the back is this color. And then we have this color, sort of a floral design on this side. Just a little strip, just a little piece. very smooth.